everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is another episode of What You Making Monday, and I will be making a beef stroganoff. I got the recipe from Jeff from Pressure Luck Cooking. I get a lot of my Instant Pot recipes from him. I will be sharing more of those in future videos. But this is a super easy recipe to make during the week. If you're in a pinch, something quick, easy, everybody likes it, and it's flavorful because I've tried some other beef stroganoff recipes and they're not very flavorful. So this definitely has a lot of flavor and everybody in your house will like it. Okay, let's get started. With the meat, you are going to want 1.5 to 2 pounds of meat. Jeff suggests using chuck roast and then cutting it up into chunks. I did not do that. I just bought the stew meat. I think this is about 1.5 to 2 pounds. And then all we need to do is season it with salt and pepper, anywhere between 1 to 2 teaspoons of each. Totally up to your discretion. I usually tend to want a little bit more salt than pepper, but you're going to get most of the flavor from the other ingredients in the sauce. I'm just gonna rub this around, and then I will add in a kind of eyeball in here with my salt here. Get it all mixed up here. Okay, now that the meat is done, I added 3 tablespoons of olive oil and 2 tablespoons of butter. I turned on the saute button to get the butter all melted and everything heated up so that I can add in the meat. Okay, the butter is all melted. It's starting to sizzle up here, so I'm going to add in the meat. And because I used the stew meat in smaller chunks, I am not going to sear it as long. He suggests 2 to 3 minutes. I might do a minute and see how it looks. Okay, so I cooked the meat in here for like 1 minute, 30 seconds or so, just to get it kind of brown here. And then we are going to add in 1 onion chopped up, that kind of cook down a little bit. Okay, so I let the onions cook in here for about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to add in 8 ounces of baby Bella mushrooms. I'm not a huge fan of mushrooms, but my family is, so I add it in. And then we're going to give this a stir around for about 2 minutes. Okay, now that that's cooked down a little bit, I'm going to add in a tablespoon of garlic. We love garlic. I buy it in the big tubs at the store, so I'm going to add just a little extra because a little extra garlic never hurts. And then I'm going to give this a stir for 1 minute. Okay, now that that is cooked down, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of cooking wine. You can add regular white wine if you have it. I didn't have any, so cooking wine will work just fine. And I'm going to stir that around for about 1 minute, making sure that I'm scraping the bottom of the pan, which is called deglazing, to make sure you get any of the food off, so that way you do not get the burn alert on your Instant Pot. Now that the white wine is stirred in there, I'm going to add a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Give that a good stir. Still deglazing the bottom of the pan. Okay, now I'm going to add 1.5 cups of beef broth, and a teaspoon of thyme. Okay, now that we have all of our ingredients in here, I'm going to add back in the meat. And I give that a good stir all together. And then you are going to cook it on mine. It says pressure cook. Some other ones might say manual, for 7 minutes if you want firm meat, 12 minutes if you would like tender meat. I tend to want to have tender meat, so I will do 10 minutes just to kind of see how it is, and then I can always put it back in if it's not done. Between 10 to 15 minutes to get your Instant Pot up to pressure, and then it will be 10 minutes. So I usually use this time to clean up my mess and to start the noodles. This is the brand that I bought. Obviously you can use whatever egg noodles that you have at your local grocery store. Okay, the timer is up. So I'm going to do a quick release. You can do a natural release, which would mean when it is done cooking, you would just leave it for 10 minutes. You can set a separate timer for 10 minutes, and then when that 10 minutes is up, you can let out the pressure. There shouldn't be as much pressure. Either way, doesn't matter. Okay, so I turned on my Instant Pot to the saute function and let it get kind of bubbled up here, and then I am going to add my cornstarch slurry, which is 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 2 tablespoons of water to help to thicken up the sauce. You want to get that stirred up right away and get that going so that way it doesn't get any chunks. Then I am going to add 1 packet of the Lipton onion soup mix. You can also add in the onion mushroom soup mix, whatever you have. And give that a stir. And then I'm going to let this bubble up for 1 minute. Okay, now that I gave that a stir for 1 minute, I press the keep warm button so it'll still be warm, but I want the bubbles to subside so that way it's not too hot when I add in my dairy. Okay, so the bubbles have settled, so now I can safely add in my dairy. So I'm going to add in this Boursin cheese. So delicious. This is what makes it taste very good. Everything else in here makes it taste good, but this is just an added bonus. We use this in charcuterie boards. It's delicious. So this is the garlic and fine herbs. You can usually find this with like the cheeses and meat in the deli department. If you do not have this at your local grocery store, you can just use 5 ounces of cream cheese. So I chopped this up into little pieces. That way it's easier to melt. And then I will also be adding in a cup of sour cream. And then I will just give this all a good stir till everything gets all melted and ready to eat. Okay, cheese is all melted, sour cream is all mixed in. Now it's time to taste it. It is excellent. It is a perfect dinner for a super cold night like today. So I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you for watching. Comment below and let me know what you were having for dinner tonight.